Yo, what is going on YouTube? My name is Dan, aka aDrive, and I am bringing you the Pokemon Sun and Moon Shiny Pokemon theories. In this video, I'll be talking about my thoughts on Shiny Pokemon in the upcoming main series release, Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. Please remember this video is for discussion purposes, and while I have done extensive research, a lot of the statements in this video are theory, despite the fact that my uncle works for Nintendo. Hey uncle. Before we get into things, this video did take a tremendous amount of time to put together, so if you do enjoy, please be sure to give the video a like rating and subscribe if you are new. Don't forget to leave a comment below letting me know your theories and any ideas I may have missed. Lastly, be sure to check out our Twitch stream in the description below, as I shiny hunt daily and we have a ton of fun there. Now let's get into the video. Shiny Pokemon were first introduced in Pokemon Gold and Silver, with Shiny Red Gyarados being a main feature in the story's plot. Since then, Shiny Pokemon have become one of the Pokemon trainers' most prized possessions. Prior to Pokemon X and Y, the chance to find a Shiny was a mere 1 in 8,192. However, with the release of the 6th generation, Shiny Pokemon became much more common, with the standard odds being reduced to 1 in 4,096, twice the chance as the older games. Not only this, but Pokemon added various features into the game to increase the shiny chance. The first of these was the return of the Pokéradar from Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. While these mechanics were adjusted slightly, the chance to find a shiny could be reduced to as low as 1 in 200. In addition, the reintroduction of the Shiny Charm gave Pokemon players a huge boost in their shiny hunting endeavors. The Shiny Charm, given by the professor once a player completes their entire national Pokedex, increases the chances to find a shiny in the wild by 300%. This key item has proven to be an essential tool for most shiny hunters. With the first ever Pokemon main series global release, Pokemon X and Y also brought back another crucial shiny hunting mechanic, the return of the Masuda method. With Pokemon continuing to focus on a smaller world and better connectivity between trainers globally, the Masuda method, named after Junichi Masuda, a director of Game Freak, returned to the 6th generation games as a way to breed for competitive shiny Pokemon. By simply breeding Pokemon from two different real-life regions, a player would reduce their chance to find a shiny to as low as about 1 in 512. Further, Pokemon X and Y also included the shiny hunter's dream, the Pokemon Friend Safari. Now, Pokemon Friend Safari is perhaps one of the most effective ways to capture a shiny Pokemon. With a 1 in 512 chance, shinies can be quite abundant with just a little bit of luck. Not only this, but every Pokemon in Friend Safari will automatically have 2 flawless IVs or stats, and they all have a chance to have their hidden ability. The Friend Safari opened the door for anyone to become a shiny hunter, even just casually. With the re-release of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the Dex Nav was born. The Dex Nav proved to be a very effective way to find shiny Pokemon, giving the player an estimated 1 in 200 chance with the Shiny Charm. This method was basically a better version of the Friend Safari, using the Dex navigation on the bottom DS screen to locate rare Pokemon with hidden abilities. While Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire didn't have any other unique shiny methods aside from the Dex Nav, it did bring back a neat feature from X and Y called Horde Encounters. Horde Encounters are a bit different from the other shiny methods, as the statistical shiny odds do not change, but rather, simply seeing 5 Pokemon at once often leads to more shiny Pokemon. Get your fishing rods out, it's time to talk a little bit about chain fishing. Chain fishing was a mechanic introduced in Pokemon X and Y, and it remained in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Simply by consecutively reeling in Pokemon while fishing, the player has a much higher chance of finding shinies. So much so, that this method is often looked at as being too easy, despite it being limited to just Pokemon that can be reeled in. Now, with all these methods included in Pokemon's 6th generation, there is so much potential for shiny hunting headed into Pokemon Sun and Moon, so let's dive into it. First, let's take a look at the methods that I think will return and be in Pokemon Sun and Moon. I feel really strongly about the Masuda method being included in the 7th generation of games. Pokemon has continuously focused on connectivity between players through mechanics like Wonder Trade and more. I would be very surprised to not see the Masuda method breeding mechanic return, as I feel it's a staple in Pokemon at this point. The Masuda method grants players an opportunity to breed competitive shinies to play with against their friends, and with the abundance of hacked or generated shinies, the Masuda method is the best true counter, maintaining legitimacy in the Pokemon games moving forward. Horde Encounters were introduced in Pokemon X and Y, and I believe there's a really strong chance they will return as well. We have seen Pokemon expand the encounter mechanics numerous times, from single battles to doubles to even triple battles. The Horde Encounter mechanic was a staple in both 6th generation games, and I would be very surprised if we didn't see it again in Sun and Moon. The chain fishing mechanic is one that I also think will make its return in Pokemon Sun and Moon. While many think this mechanic is far too simple and yields a very high shiny chance, I think that's exactly what Pokemon was aiming to do. With Pokemon Sun and Moon on its way, there will most certainly be areas for the casual fisherman to cast their rod, and I think it's almost guaranteed that shinies will be abundant with this method. Now, I'm sure we can all agree that Pokemon likes to throw curveballs our way, so let's talk a little bit about some of the shiny methods that likely won't be returning in Pokemon Sun and Moon. The first of these, unfortunately, is likely the Dex Nav. The Dex Nav was created as a feature to tie Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald 3rd generation to the new remakes Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire using 3rd gen sprites and a field view in the bottom DS screen. While it took people a while to figure out the increased shiny chance, the Dex Nav proved to be an incredibly effective way to catch a number of different shinies. I think because the feature was so heavily integrated into the Hoenn region in the remakes, it is unlikely it returns in the 7th generation of games. I would most certainly not complain if I'm wrong though. Another amazing mechanic introduced in Pokemon X and Y was the Friend Safari, as we mentioned earlier. Friend Safari, as wonderful as it is, may not be returning to Pokemon Sun and Moon. This feature was tucked into the post-game in the Kalos region, and while it was a fan favorite, I fully expect Pokemon to innovate a new idea, perhaps a Friend Safari version 2, or some variant of the Safari Zone we all know and love. Before we get to the new mechanics, let's talk a little bit about the Poké-Radar, a feature that has come and gone in the Pokemon franchise. The Poké-Radar was the original Shiny Hunter mechanic, and I think there's a chance that Pokemon does away with it. I believe the Dex Nav was meant to be an easier to use replacement of the Poké-Radar in some ways, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a hybrid version of the two moving forward. So now that we've discussed the potential existing methods for Pokemon Sun and Moon, let's talk a little bit about what new features 7th generation could bring us. I really like the idea of an expansive Safari Zone with an increased shiny chance. Perhaps a Safari Zone that replicates a number of different biomes from across the 6 previous generations, featuring an abundance of cool and rare Pokemon in their shiny forms. Pokemon fans, new and old, love the Safari Zone. From its roots in the Kanto region to the various revamps of it throughout the Pokemon world, the Safari Zone would be an amazing staple in Pokemon Sun and Moon, especially if it's positioned as a preservation for Pokemon not native to the speculated island of Hawaii. As we mentioned a bit ago, the idea of a hybrid Poké-Radar and Dex Nav would be a dream come true. Pokemon has continuously made efforts to make the game easier and more accessible for all ages, and I think a variant of the Dex Nav or an easier Poké-Radar would make a lot of sense for Pokemon Sun and Moon. It will certainly be interesting to see what new mechanics Pokemon Sun and Moon brings us as the 7th generation of Pokemon approaches. Now, before we wrap things up here, let's talk a little bit about the potential for an alternative shiny form. In the past, Pokemon fans have speculated and dreamed of an alternative shiny version of Pokemon, perhaps Rainbow, or even albino Pokemon. We've even seen through other spin-off games the introduction of Shadow Pokemon and more. The possibilities are truly endless, and I for one would be in favor of an even rarer shiny alternative. Perhaps Pokemon will introduce a rainbow shiny Pokemon that can be found as a 1 in 10,000 chance, or even less likely, maybe 1 in 20,000. This new type of shiny would give shiny hunters new and old something incredibly amazing to hunt for. Be sure to give me your most creative ideas in the comments below. Do you think the addition of an alternative, rarer shiny form would make current shinies less valuable? Let me know in the comments. Shiny Pokemon, the rare sparkles we all know and love, will most certainly be returning to Pokemon Sun and Moon. The real question is, how rare will these shinies be, and what methods will be built into Pokemon Sun and Moon to increase our chances to find these creatures? Thank you again for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy, and as always, be sure to leave a like, rating, and subscribe if you are new. Don't be afraid to check out some of the epic shiny reactions on my channel, and stay tuned for more Pokemon Sun and Moon theories and news coverage as we approach. With all that said, my name is Dan, aka aDrive, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.